What is going on, everybody? D Illa here. I know it's been a while. Just got back from vacation last week. There's been a few things that happened. James Bradberry went over to the Philadelphia Eagles, signed with them. The schedule came out, of course. I haven't had a chance to really go over it yet and kind of analyze the games and figure out which games we could possibly win and which games we will probably get our ass kicked in. But yeah, you saw my last video. I made it up the hill. Everything was okay. You know, it's always a plus when you don't die walking up a steep ass hill like that. But when I was in St. Thomas, I found out there were many more hills that were way steeper than that. So that hill was steep, but it was nothing in comparison to the others. So if you ever go there, get ready for the hills and get ready for crazy ass taxi drivers. All right, so I want to come out here and talk about James Bradberry signing with the Philadelphia Eagles, our division rival. It's a good move for the Eagles. It just strengthens that team that much more. You know, if they can get some good solid play out of Jalen Hurts, I think they've definitely got something going on over there, especially with the defensive pieces they've added to that team. You know, Miles Sanders is already a strong running back, along with Boston Scott as a backup. You know, the addition of A.J. Brown is going to be tough to stop that team. But James Bradberry heading over to them, that definitely leaves a hole for us as far as our secondary goes, you know, in regards to our number one cornerback position. You know, I think everybody saw this coming. God, the lighting in here is horrible because the sun's coming through the side window of the truck. I think everybody saw this coming. We all knew that, you know, we were going to have to cut James Bradberry eventually, that he wasn't going to be able to be on this team in consideration with our cap and everything that was going on with it. We had to clear up some space. And obviously we couldn't keep him on this team, and he just was not a part of this team's future, considering he is pushing close to 30 years old, or he's about to be 30 years old. But obviously you can help a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, who are a little bit farther along than we are right now. They just have questions at the quarterback position, much like our team does. But I feel like they are they're far more equipped at other positions that we're not necessarily equipped in, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I like their offensive pieces with Dallas Goedert, you know, Devontae Smith, and now A.J. Brown on that team. You know, they could definitely be a force in the NFC East, and I do believe they will be contending with the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. So as far as our situation goes with our secondary, you know, we have Adoree Jackson, we have Rodarius Williams, we still have Aaron Robinson from UCF, played a little bit last year, was injured, showed some signs. And then, of course, we drafted Cordell Flott, the guy from LSU, smaller cornerback. Guy kind of reminds me of like a guy like Kevin Dockery. I don't know. You know Kevin Dockery's role on this team back in the day. I mean, he was more of a slot guy. And when we draft a guy like Cordell Flott, it reminds me of a guy like Aaron Ross. And I try to compare the two, like which corner was actually the better corner coming out of college? Was it Aaron Ross or is it Cordell Flott? And honestly, if I had to choose between the two, I think I would give the nod to Aaron Ross. I think Aaron Ross was a more physical corner. Obviously, he was a bigger corner. And you saw what Aaron Ross really was in the NFL. He was more of a slot guy. He did play on the outside at times, but during his time here with the Giants, it was more Terrell Thomas, and of course it was Corey Webster, you know, during that time. But, you know, I don't know what to think of Cordell Flott at this point in time as far as him possibly being our second corner. Obviously, Aaron Robinson's going to get his shot at it. Can he do it? I don't know. Does he have the speed to stay with these NFL wide receivers? I mean, I really don't know. But when it comes to Cordell Flott playing that second cornerback position, I just don't think he can do that on the outside. If he goes man-to-man against a bigger wide receiver, man, those guys are going to have they're just going to be able to do whatever the hell they want to do with him. You know, that's honestly how I feel about it. And I just feel like he's more fit for a slot position, obviously. And I don't know. I don't really know how our secondary is going to shake out. But honestly, you guys know how I feel about this team. You know, if Daniel Jones comes out, falls flat on his face, you know, like I've said in other videos, what's the best way for offense to attack our defense? It's throw the ball. That's what teams do in this league, man. They throw the ball down the field. And if you don't necessarily have the strongest secondary in the world, of course, offenses are going to light you up. And that's what's most likely what's going to happen to us. Because after Adoree Jackson, who is a guy that does have injury issues himself, you know, there's really not that much depth in the secondary. You have a guy like Julian Love who could possibly come down and play corner himself, who plays, you know, the free safety position. But, you know, he's not necessarily the fastest guy in the world. I mean, I like Julian Love, but I don't think he's a guy that's necessarily made to play an outside corner position. But he's a good option. But I just don't think we really have the good, solid depth on this team in the secondary in regards to those two outside corners. I like what we have inside with Flott and another option that we have. I can't think of his name right now. It's just completely slipping my mind. But yeah, I do think the secondary is going to have some issues, especially if we have any kind of injuries on this team. I mean, I just don't see them really having the depth. And like I said, if Daniel Jones really doesn't play well, I mean, it could honestly benefit us, because obviously teams are going to attack us through the air. And you know how big I am on draft position when it comes to draft position in the 2023 draft. I think it's paramount. I think we definitely have to put ourselves in a good position to get the quarterback that we want, not just settle for our second option. You know, in every single draft, man, every team that comes out and needs a quarterback, everybody's like, go out and get the guy that you want. Go out and get the guy you want. And honestly, if you want to get the best quarterback in the draft class, you're going to have to pony up the dough, pony up the picks to go out and get that guy. You're not going to want to settle for your second choice. You're going to want to get the one guy that you want. That's what you're going to want to do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. So I'm not that worried about our secondary. I mean, I know it's going to be an issue, but like I've said, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I mean, this is going to be a season of trials and tribulations, man. We're going to find out who can play and who's going to be on this team for a long period of time from this point going forward. That's all this season really is going to be if Daniel Jones can't play. And I've stated that many, many times. But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in the video. I just want to come out here and put a short little video out just to put some content out there. I'll eventually go through the schedule and tell you guys what I think at first glance. I mean, obviously our schedule doesn't necessarily look that tough. But, you know, teams are still going to make moves from this point going forward, and we don't know exactly how these teams are going to look once the game days come around, you know, this year coming up. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, that's it for the video, you guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right.